The Wild West, a land of vast plains, dusty trails, and of course, saloons. These iconic establishments were more than just places to grab a drink, they were the lifeblood of the community. These establishments weren't merely places to grab a drink. They were vibrant hubs of the community, where people from all walks of life would gather. They were vibrant hubs of the community. Saloons provided a place for weary travelers to rest, share stories, and find companionship in an otherwise lonely frontier. Saloons provided a place for weary travelers to rest. After long days on the trail, cowboys and settlers alike would find solace in the welcoming atmosphere of these establishments. They offered a stage for lively entertainment. From piano players to traveling musicians, the saloon was a place where the arts could flourish, even in the most rugged of settings. And crucially, they served up hearty meals to cowboys, prospectors, and townsfolk alike. The food was often simple but always filling, providing the necessary energy for the hard work that defined life in the West. Forget the romanticized image of the lone cowboy. In reality, these men and women relied heavily on the sustenance provided by saloons. Food was essential for survival in the harsh conditions of the frontier. The meals served in saloons were a lifeline, offering not just nutrition but a sense of normalcy and comfort. Saloons, with their bustling kitchens, played a vital role in keeping people fed. The cooks worked tirelessly to prepare meals that would sustain the community. The food wasn't always fancy. Often it was basic fare made from whatever ingredients were available, but it was always hearty and satisfying. But it was filling and fueled the West's expansion. The hearty meals provided the energy needed for the grueling work of building a new life on the frontier. Step into my world as we explore the fascinating culinary history of Wild West saloons. We'll delve into the stories behind the dishes and the people who made them. We'll uncover the stories behind the dishes, the challenges of frontier cooking, and the surprising ingenuity of saloon cooks. These cooks often had to make do with limited resources, yet they managed to create meals that were both nourishing and delicious. Get ready for a taste of the Wild West, where food was more than just sustenance, it was a way of life. The meals served in saloons were a testament to the resilience and creativity of the people who lived there. Let's belly up to the bar and dig in. Join me as we journey through the culinary landscape of the Wild West, discovering the flavors and stories that made this era so unique. In the days of the Wild West, saloons were not known for their culinary excellence. The land of extremes extended to its food offerings as well. The quality of food in these establishments was as unpredictable as a poker hand. One day, you might find a delightful meal, and the next, you could be left with a less fortunate fare. On the fortunate days, a hearty venison stew might be on the menu. This dish, rich and warming, was a true delight after a long day on the trail. Made with fresh game and simmered with root vegetables such as carrots and potatoes, it provided a satisfying and nourishing meal. Some saloon proprietors even went as far as to hire French chefs. These culinary artisans brought a touch of European refinement to the rugged frontier. These chefs would prepare elaborate spreads to attract patrons. Imagine entering a saloon to find a table brimming with delicacies. However, the reality was often far less glamorous. For every saloon with a French chef, there were many more offering far less appealing fare. Many saloons served food that was, to put it kindly, best not scrutinized too closely. Dining could be a gamble. Consider the tough, leathery jerky that could challenge even the strongest jaws. This was food that tested one's endurance, or the stale biscuits, hard enough to serve as makeshift weapons. These were not the soft, buttery biscuits of modern times. And then there was the ever-present threat of a mysterious stew, its ingredients best left unidentified. One never knew what might be in the pot. Food poisoning was a genuine risk. Dining in a Wild West saloon could be a perilous endeavor. Eating in a Wild West saloon was not for the faint-hearted. It was an adventure, a test of both bravery and stomach fortitude. Throughout the vast expanse of the Wild West, certain foods became the bedrock of saloon menus, despite the varying quality. Salt pork and beans stood as a timeless pairing. Salt pork, a heavily salted and preserved cut of meat, offered a dependable source of protein. Its resilience against the rigors of transportation and storage without refrigeration made it invaluable. Beans, another essential pantry item, provided crucial sustenance and could be prepared in large quantities. Jerky, though infamously tough, was a practical choice for the ever-moving life of the West. Its long shelf life, lasting for months without spoiling, made it a treasured food source for cowboys and travelers alike. And naturally, no meal in the Wild West would be complete without sourdough biscuits. These simple yet satisfying bread products were a cornerstone of the frontier diet. These humble ingredients nourished generations of pioneers, cowboys, and dreamers, forging the spirit of the West. One of the most fascinating aspects of saloon dining in the Wild West was the concept of the free lunch. Indeed, free food was offered to patrons. Saloon proprietors were astute businessmen. They understood that a small incentive could greatly attract customers. With the purchase of a drink, patrons were often treated to a spread of complimentary food. The offerings varied from one saloon to another. Some might present a modest spread of bread, cheese, and pickles. Others might provide a more substantial selection. This could include ham, sausages, or even fried fish. The quality and variety of the free lunch often depended on the saloon's clientele and the owner's generosity. This shrewd marketing tactic ensured patrons would return time and again. After all, who could resist a free meal? Picture, if you will, the culinary landscape of the Wild West. Contrary to what one might expect, it was a true melting pot of cultures. This rich diversity was vividly reflected in the menus of saloons scattered across the frontier. German immigrants, with their cherished sausages and sauerkraut, left an indelible mark. Chinese railroad workers introduced the flavors of chop suey and chow mein to the Western palate. Mexican influences brought tamales and chili peppers to the tables of the West. Even oysters, a delicacy more commonly associated with the East Coast, found their way into some saloons. Whether served fresh or canned, these bivalves offered a rare taste of luxury in the rugged heart of the Wild West. Indeed, the Wild West was a place where cultures collided and culinary traditions blended seamlessly. In the days of the Wild West, saloon menus boasted a surprising variety of dishes, yet one crucial element was conspicuously absent: vegetables. The unforgiving frontier life meant that fresh produce was a rare commodity. Many a traveler lamented the scarcity of greens in their daily fare. They longed for the fresh fruits and vegetables they had enjoyed back east. Saloon keepers did their utmost to provide. Wild onions, when they could be found, were a cherished addition to the meals. These onions offered essential vitamins and helped stave off scurvy. Nonetheless, the cuisine of the Wild West remained predominantly meat-centric. Those rugged cowboys were hardy, but even they needed their vitamins. Have you ever noticed how salty snacks make you thirsty? Well, saloon owners of the Wild West were astute in exploiting this physiological phenomenon. They meticulously stocked their establishments with salty treats like pretzels, pickled eggs, and herring. These snacks were not merely for enjoyment, they were crafted to induce thirst. The saltier the snack, the more drinks patrons would order. It was a shrewd, albeit slightly manipulative business tactic that proved remarkably effective. So, the next time you find yourself reaching for another beer after a handful of pretzels, remember, you might just be succumbing to a strategy perfected in the saloons of the Wild West. A little salt went a long way in boosting saloon profits. Not all saloons were created equal. In the bustling towns and cities of the Wild West, upscale hotel saloons offered a more refined dining experience. These establishments catered to a wealthier clientele. They prided themselves on their elegant ambiance and sophisticated menus. Forget the one-pot stews and simple fare. Hotel saloons served multi-course meals. These might include soup, fish, roasted meats, and even desserts. Some hotel saloons even boasted dedicated restaurants. These establishments aimed to replicate the fine dining experiences found back east. They imported ingredients, hired experienced chefs, and spared no expense in creating a luxurious atmosphere. For those with the means, a touch of elegance could be found amidst the ruggedness of the frontier. In the annals of the Wild West, saloons were more than mere watering holes. They were the lifeblood of frontier towns. These bustling establishments offered sustenance, camaraderie, and a stage for the drama of daily life. Yet the true spirit of the frontier lay beyond these swinging doors, in the rugged existence of homesteaders and cowboys. Homesteaders, the brave souls who tamed the wild land, depended on their own ingenuity and the bounty they could cultivate or hunt. These pioneers faced relentless challenges, from unforgiving weather to scarce supplies, but their resolve and resourcefulness saw them through. They grew crops like corn, beans, and squash, and hunted game such as deer and rabbits to sustain themselves. The buffalo, a symbol of the untamed West, was a cornerstone of the homesteader's diet. These magnificent beasts roamed the plains in great numbers, providing meat, hides, and a lifeline for many frontier families. The buffalo's role in their survival was profound and indispensable. One-pot meals such as robust bison stews were a staple, cooked over a single fire. These meals were not only practical but also fostered a sense of community as families gathered around the campfire. The simplicity of these dishes belied their nutritional value and the comfort they provided after a day's toil. Cowboys, driving cattle across the vast plains, relied on the chuck wagon for their sustenance. These drives, lasting for months, made the chuck wagon an essential mobile kitchen, carrying vital supplies and providing nourishment for the cowboys. The chuck wagon, a marvel of frontier innovation, allowed cooks to prepare meals on the move. Equipped with an array of tools and ingredients, the cookie could create meals that were both hearty and nutritious. Chuck wagon fare was simple yet substantial, designed to sustain long days in the saddle. Staples like beans, bacon, and biscuits were easy to store and prepare, providing a much-needed respite for the cowboys after a grueling day of herding cattle. Beans, bacon, coffee, and dried fruits were common provisions, chosen for their durability and ease of transport. These items ensured that cowboys had access to essential nutrients, even in the most remote locations. Whether on the range or the homestead, the key to survival was resourcefulness and ingenuity. The ability to maximize available resources, adapt to changing conditions, and foster a sense of community defined the spirit of the Wild West. This resilience and creativity continue to inspire us, a testament to the enduring legacy of the homesteaders and cowboys who shaped the American frontier.